All right, I'm here with Guy from Elevate Nevada magazine. Guy, tell us what you're all about.
Hey, Elevate Nevada was conceived through creating a format for the demographic that's being underserved in the cannabis community. Most of the magazines across this country cater to a specific demographic, the ones that want to show smoking a joint, or as they like to call bud porn. We wanted to create a magazine that appealed to a demographic that was more educated, white collar, that believe in the actual aspects of the medicine and not just the psychoactive ingredient to create the high. We realized nobody was catering to that market for the health issues, what it was doing for cancer and glaucoma and diabetes. So we wanted to take that concept and spread it out. We wanted to be in mainstream areas like a Smiths and Terribles. Our most recent edition, we covered Melissa Etheridge, because she used it to recover from breast cancer during her radiation and chemo treatments. It really conceived with the story of my mom. My mom died about 3 years ago from lung cancer. When she called, when it came back, it was in remission for a while. When it came back and she called me, she told me she didn't want to go through radiation again. I asked her why she wouldn't. I have an 8 and 5-year-old kid. I wanted my mom to be around. I'm a mama's boy from Brooklyn, New York, and Italian American, so my mom was everything to me. So when she told me she didn't want to take radiation, I asked her why, and she said because she didn't want to go through the sleepless nights, no appetite, nausea, all the symptoms that come with radiation and chemo, and I suggested cannabis for her to take it in edible format or liquid format or oil to ease those treatments so she could go through radiation and chemo. At that time, my mom called everything dope. Everything from heroin to cocaine to cannabis was dope and believed it was a bad drug. And that's the point when I realized that there was a demographic that could benefit from the usage of cannabis and other demographics like that are using it already for pain treatment and everything like that. So I created it in honor of my mom because I wanted to educate the uneducated people about cannabis that always looked at that stigma. When you look at penicillin or antibiotics, they don't have a logo. There isn't a giant pot leaf for antibiotics or penicillin. So I wanted to create a clean image to help move that conversation forward and help gear it in the right way to let people know that this is an alternative medicine without the side effects. When you look at a pharmaceutical, I forgot which pharmaceutical it was yesterday, but I was watching a commercial, and it was 5 minutes of reported of no body movement, no leg pain, may cause suicide, will cause suicidal thoughts. And cannabis is on the market, and it's creating such a great healing factor or help relieve the symptoms without any of the side effects, except please don't drive while using.
Well, I see now the 3 states have legalized recreational use, and now we have we're opening a couple dispensaries have been opened up now, right?
Currently, there are 4 open dispensaries. There's Las Vegas Relief, which is on Sahara and Paradise. There is Inyo, which is on Sahara and Maryland Parkway. There is Nevada Wellness Center that is on Decatur near Desert Inn. And then there's Euphoria, which is on Jones close to Robindale.
Well, tell us how you see the industry unfolding here in Las Vegas.
It's, everybody feels that it's moving slow, but I truly believe we went from 0 to 60, and the movement we've had in the last 2 years is miraculous. It's something great. The state is trying to be, Nevada as a state is trying to be the leader in legalizing cannabis because we do it so well. We created gaming laws that this entire world has adopted, from anywhere in Monte Carlo all the way to Rio de Janeiro to Florida that's considering gaming, and we adapted those standards. So with the laboratory testing, we're trying to create the standard for the world of how to test cannabis and what to look for in cannabis. And I understand the MMEs, or medicinal marijuana establishments, their patience is hard when they're spending millions and millions of dollars into dispensaries, cultivations, and laboratories and production facilities, and all the different type of state laws that are going on that makes it movement a little slower. But when you look at it, the turnaround within 2 years is dramatic. Things usually take 5 to 10 years to turn around, and we're going at light force.
Do you see recreational use being legalized here in Nevada?
Adult usage, they won't call it recreational, but they do call it adult usage, is on the bill as question 1 in November of 2016. I would like to believe the popularity and the voters getting out to vote, but I have friends that have ran for office that were 25% favorites going into the election night that lost. So I never want to count my chickens before they hatch. Do I believe that the majority believes in it? Yes. Do I hope that they get off the couch and vote? 100%, because I do believe in full drug reform. I don't believe cannabis. I believe in the healing benefits. But if you look at Portugal, which had the highest drug abuse rate in the world, legalized all drugs, and their abuse rate, incarceration rate, and everything went down. So I do believe in full drug reform for the U.S., Nevada, as controlling by the government.
So as your magazine grows, anybody who's in the industry, medicinal cannabis industry, this magazine will continue to educate them on this industry.
Our goal is to educate and the health and wellness, and that's the format we will. You know, one common question I get is, if we do go legal for adult usage, will we change our message? Absolutely not, because there's still going to be doubters and haters that don't understand it, and I feel the only way to appeal to them is life stories of people that were anti-cannabis that end up using it for treatment and feeling better. There's actually, which one of my favorite things in the Melissa Etheridge story, she compares it to the LGBT movement and says that people need to start coming out and speaking about it, which to me is very impressive. I think the LGBT movement honestly is more important, because that's not a choice. Cannabis is a choice. But just having Melissa Etheridge compare those two and being the leader of the LGBT movement is thought-provoking, and we are honored for her to make that mention in her magazine. When you look at another thing that she says she probably wouldn't take radiation or chemo and just utilize cannabis. And that's a powerful statement as well, because pharmaceutical companies do believe in maintenance, not healing.
So I'm just curious, how is this? Is there a stigma since you started this? How's the reaction been for you?
Being a 38-year-old kid from Brooklyn, I couldn't be more flabbergasted and honored at the same time. The stigma is out there, and I'm watching emails and social media of people reaching out to us and thanking us and asking us more questions. The stigma will always be there, at least for the next decade or two, until it's removed from the Schedule 1 drugs list. It's not, comparing it to cocaine and heroin is ridiculous. I do believe that pharmaceutical companies should have been able to distribute it and treat it like medicine, because that would remove the stigma a lot quicker, because we believe everything our doctors say, and they're fed by the pharmaceutical companies. But the stigma will always be there, but I think little by little we're tearing it down, and other people are tearing it down, and we're converting people to understand and at least listen and let us educate them.